Hello everyone, my name is Sharon and I will be presenting the results from our study that we conducted starting the summer of 2022. Our team consisted of 5 students, Faiza, Charles, Yunni, Yushu, and myself, and we worked under the supervision of Professor Lisa. The study was designed to estimate the amount of time and energy that could be saved by remote learning, teaching, and conferences. As a result, we divided our research into 2 parts, where students and staff from UofT were the focus of the first study, and online versus in-person conferences were the focus of the second. This project will attempt to estimate the following: how much time could be saved by working at home, referring to the time spent commuting and estimating the average distance that students travel to reach university. How much energy could be saved by learning at home, using the estimate from 1 and estimating how students commute to campus. Our target population was staff and students from each campus of the University of Toronto. We administered a series of relevant questions that were sent out via Google Forms to this population. We were able to obtain a response from 151 students, with the majority of respondents being UTSC students. The following bar chart shows us that more than 100 students from our 151 respondents use public transit as their primary mode of transportation, and a little more than 25 students use a personal vehicle. We also asked the students that if there was an option to attend classes online, would they be likely to choose that option? The responses are shown in the graph below. Majority of the students said that they were very likely to choose the online option. However, a large number of students also said that they were unlikely to choose the remote option. The following graphs display information regarding the average time it takes for students to travel to and from campus. Our data has a unimodel distribution, and this means that the value representing the highest point is also the most frequently occurring value in our dataset. We can also tell that there are some outliers, which indicates that it takes some students a much longer time to commute to campus. These outliers are located to the very far right of our graph. However, a majority of the values lie within an interval of 0 to 100 minutes. Calculating the total time spent commuting, we see that the average total time spent commuting daily across all the survey respondents is approximately 82 minutes. We also see a few outliers with the corresponding times of 210 minutes to 360 minutes. We previously stated that from the students that responded to our survey, they spent 82 minutes on average commuting every day. Then based on this graph, we see that most of the students are on campus at least 4 to 5 days a week. With all the information considered and knowing that it takes 82 minutes on average to commute to and from campus, if students were on campus, let's say 5 days a week, remote learning could save them approximately 6 hours and 15 minutes weekly. Now moving on to how much energy can be saved. We know that public transport consumes far less energy compared to cars that run entirely on gas. The TTC bus fleets, for example, are mainly hybrid electric, clean diesel, and battery electric, which translates to environmentally friendly alternatives. Walking and biking to campus are the most efficient methods of travel, but not convenient for people who live really far from campus, hence resorting to a personal vehicle or public transit would be the best option. According to the Government of Canada, cars, vans, and light-duty trucks are responsible for almost half of the total 27% of greenhouse gas emissions in Canada. Carpooling with another person can reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 3.72 kilograms. If you were to carpool for a year, you would have reduced greenhouse gas emissions by approximately 893 kilograms. However, in our data set, we see that only a very few people carpool, and the majority of the people prefer to take public or private modes of transport. Looking at the following data from our data set, we see that regardless of the method of transportation, the average amount of money saved weekly is approximately $50. Public transit is the cheapest way to commute in Toronto, then it makes sense that the average amount of money saved when traveling by car or truck is much higher than public transit. For vehicles that run entirely on gas, for every liter of gasoline a vehicle uses, it generates about 2.3 kilograms of CO2 emissions, according to the Government of Canada. In our study, those who drove to school spent on average $78.90 weekly to commute to campus. Then for $78.90, you get approximately 43 liters of gasoline, and burning this much fuel generates on average 98.9 kilograms of CO2 emissions. Now we move on to the same research question in a different population. Let's look at the survey results from the faculty and staff members of UTSC. We were able to obtain a response from 17 faculty members from the CMS department at UTSC. We asked the faculty members that given an option to work remotely, would they be likely to choose that option? The responses are shown in the graph below. Like with the student survey, majority of the faculty members were very likely to choose the online option. However, a large number of them also said that they were very unlikely to choose the remote option. Taking a look at the preferred mode of transportation, we see that there's a slightly more preference for using a personal vehicle rather than public transit. Approximately 47% of faculty members chose a personal vehicle and 41% chose public transit. The remaining 12% chose walking and biking. When asked what method of transportation is most convenient in terms of saving money and time, the majority of the respondents chose a personal mode of transport, approximately 59% choosing car and truck, and the remaining 41% choosing public transit. These following graphs display the amount of time it takes faculty members to commute to and from campus. Using the result from our previous slide, we calculated the total time spent commuting, and we see that the average total time spent commuting daily across all the survey respondents is approximately 85 minutes. We also see a few outliers with the times of 165 minutes to 180 minutes. The following graph allows us to see that if there is any relation between the time it takes to commute and the method of travel. We can tell that the average commuting time for public transit is much higher than the average commute time by car. In the following figure, we see that the majority of the faculty are on campus for at least 4 or 5 days weekly. We previously stated that from the faculty members that responded to our data, they spend 85 minutes on average commuting every day. Then let's say, for example, that a faculty member is on campus 4 days a week. Remote work could save them around 5 hours and 40 minutes of commute time weekly. As mentioned previously, public transport consumes less energy when compared to cars or trucks that run entirely on gas. For those who drove cars and trucks to campus, we found that they spent on average $72.70 weekly, meaning this much money could have been saved on average if they were to work from home. Answering the question how much energy can be saved, we see that for $72.70, you get approximately 40 liters of gasoline, and burning this much fuel generates on average 92 kilograms of CO2 emissions. Now, discussing some challenges that we faced in our research. Our survey for UofT staff members only included 17 respondents, hence if there was a larger number of respondents, the results could be far different. Our UofT staff members survey only focused on staff and faculty members from UTSC, which means that the other two campuses were not included. Some results and conclusions from our research. Our study concluded that on average, students who commute to campus save a significant amount of time if they were given the option to attend lectures remotely. For the staff and students who commute via personal vehicle, they save time and money if there is a hybrid option in place. Additionally, staff and students who travel by private vehicles conserve a significant amount of energy in terms of CO2 emissions if given the option to work from home. While it's understood that working and learning remotely every day of the week is not feasible, having a hybrid option in place for 1 to 2 days a week could be beneficial to both staff and students in maintaining a healthy work-life balance. And that concludes our presentation on the results of quantifying the effects of COVID-19 on UofT staff and students. Thank you.